Let's use synthetic division to divide p of x by d of x. Synthetic division is a little different process than long division, but there are some similarities. First, we'll check p of x to make sure that all of the terms are arranged in decreasing order and that none of the terms are missing. Synthetic division requires us to use just the coefficients of the variables, and so we'll make sure we understand that x squared has a coefficient of 1, and that the x term here has a coefficient of -5, and then of course our constant term is +4. Let's set up synthetic division as follows. We're going to place what I call a multiplier box here on the left, and then we'll arrange these coefficients from left to right in line with that box: +1, -5, and +4. We'll give ourselves a little bit of space, and we'll draw a nice bar underneath that separates our values from our sums. Next, we'll go to our divisor term. Our divisor is x minus 1, and so what we'll do is we'll place the 0 of +1, the opposite of what we see there, in our multiplier box. This is very important that we always take the opposite of what we're seeing in the factor. Now we're ready to do synthetic division. The first step in synthetic division is always to bring down the first coefficient and place it underneath the sum bar. Next, we'll multiply from our multiplier box times our bottom value, 1 times 1, and we'll place that in zigzag fashion underneath the next term. Since 1 times 1 is 1, we'll place a +1 here. Now we'll add these terms. -5 plus 1 is -4. And the process will continue. Now we'll use our multiplier of 1 and multiply by -4. And in zigzag fashion, write that answer in the next space underneath the next term. 1 times -4 gives -4. And we'll add these terms. +4 and -4 leave 0. This is good news. When our final value is 0, that means we had no remainder, which means x minus 1 goes directly into p of x. So this is, in fact, a factor. Now, how do we write our answer? This is a little different than long division. Here we're going to take our final values written below this process, and we'll arrange those as terms in their own polynomial. Since we're dividing an x squared polynomial by an x to the first polynomial, this means our answer will be knocked down by 1 degree. And so that means when we write our answer, we'll write 1 as the coefficient of an x to the first term, and -4 as the constant term, since that would be the next term in line. Another way of thinking of this would be to write it as x minus 4, with no remainder. Let's look at another example of synthetic division. First, we'll begin by checking that all of the terms of polynomial p of x are in decreasing order, which they are, and that none of the terms are missing. You may notice we have an x squared term, but we're missing an x term in this case, so we'll have to account for that in our division process. Let's begin to set up our structure. First, we'll create a multiplier box, and then we'll write the coefficients of these terms in p of x in order. 4 is our leading coefficient. We're missing the x term, so we'll put a 0 placeholder there. And -3 is our constant term, so we'll write that down. We'll give ourselves a little bit of space and then add our sum bar underneath. Remember that we're dividing by x plus 5. So that means we're going to actually put -5 as the 0 in our multiplier box. And we're ready to begin our process. Our first step in synthetic division is always to bring down the leading coefficient and write it underneath our sum. Next, we'll multiply -5 times 4, and in zigzag fashion we'll write that in the next space available. -5 times 4 is -20. And now we'll add 0 plus -20 is -20. Let's continue now. This time we'll multiply -5 times -20 and write that in zigzag fashion underneath the next term in line. -5 times -20 is +100. And we'll add these terms again. -3 plus 100 is 97. This time we did not end up with 0, and we definitely have a remainder of 97. I'll show you how to tackle this in our final answer. Again, since we were dividing an x squared polynomial by an x to the first, we'll knock this answer down from squared to first degree. And so 4 is the first coefficient of our x to the first term. minus 20, which is our constant term. And we'll add to it our remainder of 97 divided by, once again, the divisor, x plus 5. Therefore, our final answer when we divide p of x by d of x is 4x minus 20 plus 97 over x plus 5. Not a pretty answer, but the result of dividing p of x by d of x. In this case, x plus 5 did not go in evenly, so x plus 5 is not a factor of p of x. I hope these examples help you with synthetic division, and I hope you see the benefit and speed that synthetic division can provide over long division. Thanks for watching.